Some surnames in Jamaica are everywhere. Campbell, Williams, Brown, spread across every parish, every estate, impossible to pin to one specific place. This video is about the opposite kind of name. 20 surnames tonight that the compensation records, the actual 1830s paperwork the British government used to pay slave owners for the people they'd enslaved, show concentrated in exactly one parish each, and almost nowhere else on the island. Not a broad regional pattern, not mostly here, sometimes there. One parish, one cluster of estates, one specific piece of Jamaica that this name has never really left. If your surname is rare enough that you've spent your whole life wondering exactly where it comes from, tonight might be the closest this channel has ever come to giving you a straight answer instead of a probability. Before we start, an honest note about some of tonight's names. A few of these surnames have come up on this channel before. Different videos, different stories, about who owned which estate or which African region a name traced back to. Tonight isn't about repeating those stories. It's about a different question entirely. Not who held the name, but how tightly that name clusters in the actual geography of the island. Some names spread the moment they're written into the record. Others stay exactly where they started, generation after generation, for reasons the paperwork can't always explain, but can always show you. We built tonight's list by cross-referencing the compensation database with the Jamaica almanacs of the 1820s and 30s, parish by parish, estate by estate, looking specifically for names that show up repeatedly in one place and essentially nowhere else in the surviving record. If your name is on tonight's list, tell us if your family history actually matches the parish we found. And if it's not on the list, tell us where your surname clusters. This is exactly the kind of pattern we can only find with your help. Subscribe if this is new to you. New records, new surnames, every week. Quick note before the list. We built a tool where you can type your own surname in and see what's already documented on it, including parish concentration where we've found it. It's linked below. 20 names tonight, but the tool covers far more than that. 20 parishes, 20 names. Let's go. Number 20, Coddling. Coddling is a rare English surname anywhere in the world, and in Jamaica, it clusters almost entirely in Trelawney. A name this uncommon spreading across multiple unrelated parishes by coincidence would be statistically strange. This one didn't. If you're a Coddling, the odds are unusually high that every other Coddling on the island traces back to the same small cluster of Trelawney estates. Number 19, Nembhard, St. Elizabeth. Nembhard's own family genealogists have documented the name there since at least 1775, and it never really spread beyond that parish and its immediate neighbors in any significant way. This is also the same parish where, in 1815, over 250 enslaved Igbo people organized a plan to kill every enslaver on the island. A plot discovered before it could happen. In the exact parish and years this surname is rooted in. Number 18, Gentles. Also St. Elizabeth, sitting in the same tight cluster as Nembhard. Two names, same parish, same period. A reminder that when a region's enslaved population came disproportionately from one part of Africa, as St. Elizabeth's did from the Bight of Biafra, the surnames that took root there often did too, staying concentrated in that same ground for generations. Number 17, Ebanks, Hanover. A parish with a well-documented pattern of heavy importation in the trade's final, largest decades. Ebanks is also common in the Cayman Islands, tracing the exact same migration corridor between the two British colonies. But within Jamaica itself, Hanover is where the name actually lives. Number 16. Forbes, Manchester, one of the youngest parishes on the island, only carved out in 1814. In the compensation records, a claim tied to Manchester lists Sir William Forbes, an Edinburgh banker, alongside George Forbes, both named as judgment creditors with a direct financial stake in a Manchester estate at the exact moment slavery ended. The banking family's money and the parish's name are tied together in the paperwork itself. Number 15. Carney. Also Manchester. Same late settlement period as Forbes. Carney is Irish in origin, from O Catharney, a reminder that Jamaica's Irish presence, though far less discussed than the Scottish one, left its own distinct geographic fingerprint on the island. Number 14. Macalla, St. Catherine, one of the oldest, most established parishes in Jamaica. Settled and supplied with labor long before Manchester or Trelawney existed as parishes at all. Macalla is a Jamaican variant of the Scottish Macaulay, reshaped by generations of local pronunciation until it became something distinctly its own. Number 13. Downer. Portland and St. George. The 1825 almanac records 4 separate Downers in this exact corner of the island. Caroline Downer and her sisters, George P. M. Downer at an estate called Snow Hill, Nicholas P. Downer at Plysham's Hill, and Robert Downer at a property literally named Downer's Hope. 4 members of the same family, 4 separate entries, the same parish, the same year. Number 12. Perkins, St. Andrew. Benjamin Marriott. Perkins owned the Hermitage estate here. The paper trail is unusually precise. 86 enslaved people purchased from a neighboring estate in the mid-1820s, 49 women and 37 men, down to the exact count. By 1828, renamed Hermitage Mountain, the property still carried 87 people on its books, all in the same parish, all under the same name. Number 11. Williamson, St. Catherine, specifically Spanish Town. One surviving runaway notice describes a man belonging to, quote, a Mr. Williamson, a man of color, in Spanish Town, a detail worth remembering because it's proof that not every enslaver recorded in these parish clusters was white. Number 10. Bennett, St. Elizabeth. The 1825 almanac lists Dorothy Bennett as owner of the Montrose property, 60 enslaved people recorded on her land, and 20 more on an associated holding, sitting in the exact same parish cluster as Nembhard and Gentles, further up tonight's list. Number 9. Falconer, Westmoreland. A runaway advertisement records a man who worked for, quote, Mr. J. Falconer, for upward of 6 years before escaping to reunite with his wife at a nearby estate. The almanac separately lists a William Falconer at a property simply called Rest, 56 enslaved people recorded there. Same parish, same name, 2 different documents agreeing with each other. Number 8. Curry, also Westmoreland. Isaac G. Curry appears as a trustee, administering multiple compensation claims across this exact parish in 1835 and 1836. The same parish, repeatedly, across multiple separate filings, never appearing with this kind of administrative weight anywhere else on the island. Number 7. Graham, Westmoreland again, tied to the same set of claims as Curry. A separate 1832 House of Lords. Journal appeal names a William Graham directly in a dispute over the same Westmoreland properties. 3 names now: Falconer, Curry, Graham, all pointing at the same corner of the same parish. Number 6. Scott, Manchester. John Scott was awarded compensation connected to 3 separate properties here: Wanstead, York Penn, and Green River. Nearly 300 enslaved people combined, all filed under the same name, all in the same parish. Number 5. Edwards, St. Catherine and St. John. Brian Edwards, whose estate at Eltham sits in the 1827 almanac for this exact parish pairing, wasn't just a planter, he was one of the most widely read historians of the entire Caribbean in his own lifetime. And his own books are still cited by historians studying this exact period today. Number 4. Davis, also St. Catherine and St. John. The 1827 almanac lists both Anthony Davis, with 16 enslaved people recorded, and Eleanor W. Davis, with 11. 2 entries, same parish pairing, same year, part of the same tight geographic cluster as Edwards just above. Number 3. Lawrence, St. James. The Fairfield estate was registered to Richard J. Lawrence in 1826, passing to Charles Lawrence by 1833, with 189 enslaved people recorded on the property. And when compensation was finally claimed in 1835, it came from a Mary Lawrence Stevenson, filing as owner in fee. 3 Lawrences, 1 estate, 1 parish, across nearly a decade of paperwork. Number 2. Norris, St. David. 231 enslaved people were registered at the Norris estate in 1832, with a compensation award of £4,641. 7 years later, a woman named Ellen Blades wrote to the Compensation Commission directly, explaining that her father's will had locked the Norris Head property so it could never be sold, and that she'd never received what she believed she was owed. The name never left St. David. Neither, it seems, did the family's unresolved claim to it. Number 1. Wedderburn. Westmoreland, the same parish that already produced 3 names on tonight's list: Falconer, Curry, and Graham. But none of them carry the weight of this one. James Wedderburn owned 8 separate properties across this single parish, worth more than £300,000 combined. His son, Robert Wedderburn, born in Kingston in 1762 to an enslaved woman named Rosanna, escaped to the Royal Navy at 16 and eventually wrote The Horrors of Slavery in 1824, naming his own father directly as the man responsible for his mother's suffering. Westmoreland wasn't just where this family's wealth was built. It's where the written record of that wealth's true cost came from, too. 20 names tonight, and every one of them stayed put, clustered in one parish, sometimes one single estate, for generation after generation, while names like Campbell and Williams spread across the entire island, without ever settling anywhere in particular. There's no single reason a name stays that concentrated. Sometimes it's a family that simply never left. Sometimes it's an estate large enough that everyone connected to it carried the same name outward together. Sometimes, like Westmoreland tonight, it's 4 unrelated surnames all rooted in the same patch of land at the same time, for reasons the paperwork records, but never fully explains. Drop your surname and parish below, especially if you're one of tonight's 20, because we want to know if the parish we found actually matches your own family's story. And go check your surname using the tool linked in the description. Most surnames spread out until nobody can trace them back to just one place. Tonight's 20 never did.